For most people, when you think of grandma, you usually have positive thoughts. Why wouldn't you though? There are many reasons why kids love their grandmothers. Grandmothers are usually more patient and accepting than your own parents. They're usually retired, so they have more free time to breathe and enjoy life, which means they have more time to spend with grandchildren. They provide a sense of comfort and security. Whether it's a homemade meal in their cozy home or being patient enough to listen to your stories, nothing can replace the wisdom and guidance that a grandparent can give you. A couple in Florida, Kayla and Drew, wanted their children to have a good relationship with their grandparents. They allowed them to visit Kayla's parents. Her mother, Tracy Nix, would watch over them. Tracy was a longtime principal at North Wauchula Elementary School, who many saw as a loving grandmother. But now, after 2 of the 34-year-old's kids lost their lives at her mother's house, Kayla has been fighting and begging for justice, for authorities to take her cases seriously and hold her mother accountable. Some may say it was all an accident, and that really bothers Kayla and Drew at this point, who believe it was not a coincidence that their son passed away in Kayla's mother's care, and now their daughter is also gone.
We're out in the parking lot just trying to grasp out what just happened, and that it actually just happened twice in our lifetime.
Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. If you're watching from Wauchula or Polk County, Tampa, Hillsborough, Manatee, or Okeechobee, if you're in the area, definitely let me know below. December 2021, 3 days before Christmas. 16-month-old Ezra was at his grandparents' house. His mother, Kayla, who was pregnant at the time, got a call from his father, Drew, telling her that something happened to Ezra at her mother's house. Kayla rushed over to the house. She saw a helicopter landing in the area and kept driving so fast that she ignored a stop sign and crashed head-on into another car. All of her airbags deployed. Somehow, Kayla was able to get out of the car with no shoes on, and all she could think about was getting to Ezra. According to Mr. Nix, the grandfather, he rocked Ezra to sleep while he was in the recliner in the living room. At the time, his wife Tracy was on the sofa. Then he left Ezra there with the grandmother, who was awake on the sofa. Mr. Nix left the house. He headed to Walmart and went to run errands. Mrs. Nix, Tracy, said that the story was true except for one part. She told authorities that she was already asleep when her husband left. Both of them admitted that Tracy was the only one there with Ezra. Tracy told investigators that at some point she woke up and couldn't find him. She said her grandson wandered away while she was sleeping on the sofa. When she went looking for him, the garage door was open, so she looked outside for him, didn't see him. Drove down to the end of the driveway, didn't see him. She then called her husband and told him that she could not find their grandbaby. So Mr. Nix rushed back home. Then as Tracy was driving back up the driveway, she said she looked over at the pond near their house where a lot of ducks would flock. That's where she said she saw her grandson face down in the pond. Tracy told authorities that she drove over, pulled him out, and started CPR that she was trained to perform from working in the school system for 39 years as a teacher and then principal. She did not call 911. A neighbor heard her screaming, but did not see Ezra in the water, nor did they see Tracy pull Ezra out of the water, but they did witness Tracy performing CPR. The police made it on site. They got permission from Mr. Nix to enter the home. The grandfather pointed out where everyone was seated before he left to go to Walmart and told them he left the home through the garage door. The police officer told him that his wife said the garage door was left open. Mr. Nix shook his head and said no, he closed the door behind him when he went to Walmart. According to the grandfather, he was gone for about an hour before he got the call from his wife that their grandson was missing. Ezra was airlifted to the hospital and his father was notified, who contacted his mother. Sadly, Ezra could not be saved, and Kayla wasn't given any real details. She said investigators withheld information from her at the request of her doctor's advice that any information that will make her emotionally distressed would be harmful to her unborn baby girl. Kayla was also being monitored as she had a miscarriage before, and it was a head-on collision that she was involved in while rushing to her parents' house after the incident with her son. At some point, Kayla contacted investigators asking if there was anything they could do to her mother. She wanted her to be held accountable for her negligence. Kayla was told unless she believed that her mom intentionally did something to her son, there was nothing else that they could do about the situation. Then about 2 months later, she gave birth to the couple's daughter, Uriel. Kayla shared pictures on Facebook, and a few weeks later, she mentioned that she was still struggling, but couldn't let her 2 surviving kids down. She said, "I'm not doing well, see no point in pretending that I am. Asher and Yuri are my reason to fake it till I make it. Joy and heartbreak live side by side in my heart always." At this photo shoot, Drew and I announced the pregnancy of Elias. Ezra was going to have a brother. 2 weeks later, we lost Elias at 13 weeks. Now Ezra is gone too. It feels like I'm suffocating with the burden of loss for both babies. I tell myself that they both have a brother in heaven, while Asher and Yuri are here. After what happened to Ezra, Kayla did not trust her mother at all. She said that she loved her mother and wanted to be a family. She wanted her to be a part of Uriel's life and said that she believed in second chances. So she allowed her mother to only watch Uriel supervised. Supervised visitation did not produce any red flags, so Kayla eventually allowed her mother to babysit her. On November 1st, 2022, Tracy picked up 7-month-old Uriel while Kayla went to a hair appointment. Tracy took her granddaughter out to lunch with friends, and then she took her granddaughter home with her. Instead of bringing Uriel inside, Tracy left her granddaughter in her 2019 Lexus. She told authorities that she went inside the house, talked to her dog, and practiced the piano before an upcoming lesson. When questioned how long she practiced the piano, Tracy told authorities it was, quote, "for a long time." It wasn't until one of her grandsons got there that all of a sudden it came across her mind that Uriel had been left in the back of her SUV all afternoon. She was there for hours. Now, November 1st in some places may not be as warm, but let me tell you, in Central and South Florida, it was still hot like fire. That day, temperatures soared to over 90 degrees. It was 92 degrees in Wauchula that day. Bear in mind, windows rolled up and 92-degree weather is going to feel like over 100 degrees. When Uriel's father got there to pick up his baby girl, he had flashbacks. The scene was identical as the time he rushed over there to see about his son less than a year before.
Wauchula, Florida, a small town along Main Street in Hardy County. Population, less than 5,000. Kayla Nix and Drew Schock grew up here and reconnected 5 years ago after what began as a high school friendship. They soon decided to have kids and raise their children where they had roots.
Now, this was the plan. We were going to have 3 kids, and that, you know what I mean? That was our goal.
My mom was a principal.
Kayla's mom, Tracy Nix, now at the center of their family's story.
Here we are.
A story they're here to share.
It's really difficult to know that my mom is the one, that broke his heart here. My mom.
According to the complaint affidavit on November 1st, 2022, Kayla was going to get her hair done and asked her mom to babysit. Tracy met friends for lunch, drove home, and forgot her granddaughter in the back seat of her 2019 Lexus, with the windows rolled up. She went inside, talked to her dog, and practiced the piano. When one of her grandsons arrived, all of a sudden it came across her head that Uriel was in the back seat all afternoon. Her husband immediately began CPR. Temperatures in Wauchula that day reached 90 degrees. Uriel died. She was 7 months old.
To think of the last moment of her life as a mother is gut-wrenching.
A little girl. How do you forget a little girl?
After identifying his daughter at the hospital, Drew remembers,
We're out in the parking lot just trying to grasp out what just happened, and that it actually just happened twice in our lifetime.
Twice in less than a year. 16-month-old Ezra, Uriel's brother, also died while under his grandmother Tracy's care.
911, where is your emergency?
That's a little baby. The grandmother's out giving him CP. Is he breathing? No.
Okay, it was a pond,
Yeah.
and they're not sure how long the child was in the pond?
No.
Drew got the first call 3 days before Christmas 2021.
He goes, something happened to Ezra. And that's when I just called Kayla. And she goes, what? And I said, I don't know. I'm heading there now.
I could see the helicopter landing, and I didn't look when there was a stop sign. I was in a full head-on collision, and I was going 85 miles an hour in that case, 6 months pregnant. But I got out and started running to my parents' house, and at this point I don't have shoes. I'm just running. That was my desperation to get to my son.
The father said, quote, I can't forgive it. Absolutely not. As a father, I can't. I don't even think I can as a Christian. I don't know if I could do that because it's our children and our job as a parent is to protect our children. The guilt that we have as parents that we failed because that's our only job. Tracy Nix was charged in the second case involving her granddaughter, but the state attorney said there wasn't enough evidence to charge Tracy in the case involving her 1-year-old grandson. Drew and Kayla's oldest son, he's 4 now, was never allowed to go over to Tracy's house since the incident with his little brother. They thought maybe he could wander off like Tracy claims Ezra did, but they gave Tracy the benefit of the doubt with Uriel. They probably thought that because she was an infant and she couldn't walk, she couldn't wander away. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe Tracy. I do not believe that Ezra just wandered off. He fell asleep and his grandmother probably woke him up and took him out to the pond and did what she did. Remember, when she found him, she didn't even call 911. Think about it. If you come up on anybody unresponsive, what's the first thing you do? You call 911. How in the world did she miss that step? And then there's another incident with the second grandkid in less than a year? The first incident was December 2021, the second November 2022. And she had other grandchildren. What was it about Kayla's kids that she just neglected? Something just isn't right. Tracy should be charged in both cases and locked up forever. Her retirement could be spent in the Florida Department of Corrections. I don't care how old she is. I just don't believe that any of this was an accident. Tracy is not some sweet, loving grandmother. This woman is evil and absolutely out of order. You have her attorney trying to get Tracy treated at a mental health facility, but nah, put that old hyena in jail. Talking about she went to go talk to her dog and play the piano while she left Uriel in 100-degree weather outside for hours? No, I have no sympathy for this lady. Based on her charges, Tracy could face a minimum of 12 years and a maximum of 35. I say give her all 35, no parole, and that should keep her locked up until she's 100. If she's able to survive that long, the real justice though will be giving her the chair. But since that's not on the table, go ahead and give her all 35. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tracy is trying to convince everyone that it was all an accident. Do you believe her? Special thank you to our brother Havelock. I appreciate you, Havelock, for all of your support, as well as our brother Lamar B. And I can't forget about the ladies supporting the channel as well. Our sisters Amanda B and Tiffany B. You're definitely appreciated. And Savage Beast. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.